Well, we've heard and we've been reporting here about these secret talks between the Afghan leaders and the Taliban and how they could reduce violence in the country. And for months, we kept hearing talks appeared promising. A representative from the Taliban speaking with the... No. The New York Times and the Associated Press both report that an Afghan official who says the man they thought was one of the top members of the Taliban doing the negotiating was no Taliban at all, a fraud, an imposter, a guy who reportedly made off with a whole lot of money from Western diplomats. The Afghan president now denies the story, saying today, don't listen to the international media regarding news about the Taliban. Don't listen to them. Most of it, he goes on to say, is propaganda. Don't trust the New York Times, he says. The rest of the media, he says, may be fine, but don't trust the New York Times. And now the top commander in Afghanistan, General David Petraeus, has just commented. And he says, in Berlin today, he says, it might well be that our skepticism regarding this was well-founded. Okay. With us now, the Reuters Washington bureau chief, Simon Denyer, is with us, and we're lucky to have him in New York today. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Shep.
Over the last few days, we've learned that 92% of men in Kandahar and Helmand province did not have any idea about 9/11. We know that at least 1 out of 5 of them can read and write their own language. They have no idea, the vast majority, why we're in that country. 92% don't know the towers fell in New York City. Now we're led to believe NATO has been negotiating with an imposter for the Taliban. How do we process all of this?
I mean, it would be funny, only it's not funny. You know, there are people...
Yeah, men and women are dying.
People are dying, you know. You can't make this kind of stuff up, and it's actually not a joke, you know. It shows you one thing very plainly. We don't know what we're doing there. NATO does not understand Afghan politics. So that's the first thing that it shows you. You know, you say the Afghans don't know why we're there. I'm not sure we know why we're there, actually. If you look at where the Al-Qaeda operatives are, they're in Pakistan and they're in Yemen, not in Afghanistan. So this is a real problem. And peace talks, I mean, it's not just a question of getting a couple of guys with beards round a table, offering them a couple of posts, a governorship here and there, and say, you know, that'll bring peace in Afghanistan. It's not a... That's a quick fix. But Afghanistan doesn't need a quick fix. That's the wrong approach.
We dropped into a civil war going on over there. There's no indication that that civil war is about to end itself, is there?
Right, no, there's not. I mean, look, the solution to Afghanistan, and, you know, I really pity the soldiers, American soldiers, and the Afghan civilians who are caught in the middle of this, you know. But there's no development. Development in Afghanistan is not providing private sector jobs. The economy's a shambles. There's no justice in Afghanistan. But what do we do when these things fail? We send in more soldiers. But the solution to bad development isn't to send in more soldiers. It's just putting soldiers in the wrong place.
Well, now we're sending in more tanks. We're sending in the first tanks in the history of this conflict.
And that's going to win Afghan hearts and minds? I mean, it's too late for that anyway, but tanks are not the solution to Afghanistan. The Soviets had plenty of tanks. I didn't win them much in Afghanistan.
Do you have a sense for why this continues in the way that it does? I mean, after the attacks of 9/11, fully understand why you went in there, but now that we're beginning to know the realities of all this after 9 years,
right, and
we realize largely this is about politics, do you see a way out of this?
Well, I mean, I think what's happening now is NATO and the administration is trying to find an honourable way out. But unfortunately, it's tough to find an honourable way out when things are as badly messed up as they are. But I mean, that's what it's about. It's about trying to present some successes, write a narrative of success, and then as a cover to leave.
Well, there have been a lot of individual successes in this war. This is a war that was won in the first few days. The Taliban were taken out, and of course, we moved on to Iraq, but I'm talking even more recently. There have been some very big wins in these individual conflicts. The problem is the governments in a box, which is, as they call them, the governments are supposed to come in and regain control, take control, keep things calm. On the part of the Afghans, we're finding them to be corrupt and of almost no use.
Right. So again, winning a military battle doesn't deliver you anything that's going to deliver sustainable peace. It's not delivering you development, it's not delivering you jobs, it's not delivering you justice. So where are you left? You're left with killing a few Afghans, giving some guy with a beard the governorship of some province, and then going. You know, this illustrates the problem, I'm afraid.
Simon Denyer, the Washington bureau chief for the Reuters news agency, and chilling in New York today.
Yeah, having a good time. Thanks, yeah.
It's nice to see you. Yeah.